So excited to have the former chairman of Hewlett-Packard and also former California Republican candidate for Senate. I voted for her back when I was a Californian. She is Carly Fiorina. Ms. Fiorina, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and it's Carly, please, and thanks for the vote.
Oh, you're welcome. Carly, you're now in charge of a new PAC called the UP Project, and it stands for Unlocking Potential UP. Tell us what it's about.
Well, and I will also tell your listeners, my husband and I moved back to Virginia, which is where we started several years ago, so we love being back in the air and listening to your show.
That's right. When I saw you there in the green room of Fox News a couple weeks ago, I didn't realize that you were back as a Virginian, so welcome home.
Welcome.
Yeah, great to be back in the Commonwealth. Unlocking Potential UP. The one limitless resource we have is human potential, and in particular, women remain an underutilized resource, particularly in politics. And this all started with a speech I gave several months ago at CPAC, a large gathering of conservatives, in which I said that those of us who are conservative have to combat the Democrats' war on women. Because what's happening now is Democrats immediately go to this playbook and accuse anyone who disagrees with them on any of their liberal orthodoxy as waging a war on women.
Right.
And it's offensive to women. And we saw that come through clearly in their reaction to the Hobby Lobby case, which was just over the top. You know, Hillary Clinton is comparing this to women who are suffering subjugation and repression in places around the world.
It's as if we're all in a burqa and we're not allowed to drive.
Well, and to that end, let me give you Exhibit A here. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee. This is how she put it.
Republicans want to do everything they can to have the long hand of government and now the long hand of business reach into a woman's body and make healthcare decisions for her. It's
a repugnant image that she's painting, but clearly, Carly Fiorina, the Democrats see this as an opportunity.
They do, and I'm just tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it, as a matter of fact. I find it insulting. I find it insulting to women. We are 53% of the voting public. In other words, every issue is a woman's issue. And while all women may not agree on pro-life or pro-choice, let's at least get our facts straight. The employees at Hobby Lobby had access to birth control before Obamacare. They have access through their employer free to 16 forms of contraceptive after this case. This is just over the top. And so what we really are trying to do is galvanize, train, motivate, and unlock women to speak to other women in 6 states, including Virginia, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Michigan, Colorado, and Iowa, 6 battleground states, to get women out to speak to other women about all women's issues, which frankly are all issues: jobs,
and what
healthcare.
I read about Carly and what you're doing, I think is so important, is that what I find insulting, you do as well, is so many of the national Democratic parties believe that women vote on contraception and abortion, and that's all we care about. Whereas, as you've pointed out, it's the economy, it's jobs. Our lives are much more complicated than, our contraceptive and our fertility lives.
Well, that's right. There are 2 things about the Democrats' war on women that is so insulting and so dangerous. The first is what you just pointed out, that they truly assume that all women care about is contraception, reproductive rights, and it's just simply untrue. Secondly, they assume that if you don't agree with them, there's something wrong with you. But the other thing that I think is really terrible is there is not a single fact base in their attack. It's not political debate. Political debate is characterized, I think, by mutual respect and fact and data. And whether it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Hillary Clinton or any of the rest of them who came out, this is propaganda. This is not political debate. It's simply factually untrue.
And do you think women are falling for this?
Well, in some cases they are. We know that. I mean, we know, for example, that the gender gap is large. We know that we have lost too many elections because women have either stayed away from the polls or voted Democratic because the fear-mongering has worked. And that's why we think a grassroots effort is so important. We know that women are most influenced by the women they know.
That's so true. We all talk so much to each other, and we really do convince each other, much in politics and in every part of our lives.
Exactly. And so we need to have women reaching out to other women they know in their communities, in the places where they live and work, and reach out to other Republican-leaning women or independent women and give them the facts and help them understand. Look, I'm a conservative because it works better. Our ideas work better to help people and their families. I'm a conservative because I think people are going to make better choices for themselves and their families that some big government bureaucrat is going to make for them. So we have to talk about all these issues and really help women understand.
And based on facts as opposed to just emotion, which I think the opposite does.
You know, let's give women the benefit that they're intelligent people who care about every issue that faces our nation. We're not a special interest group.
Our guest is Carly Fiorina. She's the former chairman of Hewlett-Packard and also ran for Senate in, it was 2010, I believe you ran for Senate.
That is correct.
In California. We're talking about the UP Project, Unlocking Potential. This is a new PAC. And Carly Fiorina, I got to ask you, I mean, you named these 6 battleground states. Obviously, these are going to be very important states. You're focusing on pushing back against the war on women meme and getting conservative women or women to vote and look at the Republican Party as a viable option. If you can succeed in doing this, given the fact that Hillary Clinton is probably going to run as a Democrat, you're going to be a very, very influential woman in the Republican Party. Have you ruled out running for office yourself, Carly Fiorina?
Well, look, I've learned in life you never rule anything out, and certainly when people encourage me to consider that, you have to listen. But right now, I'm really focused on making a difference in this cycle. Back to the Hobby Lobby case for a moment. That case was decided 5-4. Judicial appointments matter hugely. And so who controls the Senate matters. And ultimately, of course, who's in the White House matters. But let's get this done first. But honestly, as a woman, as a conservative, I just find this war on women appalling. And I think it's really time that women, not just in these 6 battleground states, but women all across the nation say, you know, enough already. Let's debate in a respectful way based on the facts, but let's not hurl baseless propaganda around and continue to hope that women will pay attention because we're scaring them to death.
If I can ask you to jump in real fast, you did a very good job of deftly avoiding the question as to whether you're going to run for office. So let me ask you this. I know that you were very, very passionate about your support for Mitt Romney in 2012. A lot of people see him hovering around and saying, you know, he was validated. He was right about so much back when he ran. Would you give Mitt Romney advice if he asked you about running again?
Oh,
and what would that advice be?
I think Mitt Romney will take his own counsel, but I think what Mitt Romney is doing, which is incredibly valuable, is helping other people, putting out his points of view, being a voice of reason, not just for our party, but for our nation. And I think that's incredibly important.
Do you think he should be an option for 2016?
I doubt it's what he wants, but you ought to ask him that.
All right. Well done, Carly Fiorina. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for what you're doing for women.
If I could just tell your listeners, please go to the website, up-project.org. Tell us who you are and where you are so we can reach out.
And where are you on Twitter?
Same thing on Twitter.
Okay.
So please reach out and... we need to galvanize women across the country and in particular.
Yeah, and get out to vote in November.
Go to that website and, if possible, use your HP or compact computer. That will make Carly happy as well. Thank you.
Technology neutral. It's okay.
Thank you, Carly Fiorina.